Welcome back with a smiling face. Links to previous episodes are given in the video description, so don't forget to like, subscribe and share the video. Secrets of the Fallen Heart. Episode 17. Chapter 109. You've got to be kidding me. I turned to Silviana. She meant that metaphorically, right? I ask, channeling the three brothers' words echoing in my head into one question. We are half-sisters, confesses Silviana, white as a sheet. What? I did not see that one coming. Sisters? That water witch and Silviana. Why did she hide this from us all of this time? Even to Liam? He looks as confused and shocked as all of us. I would never have guessed. How many years apart are they, anyway? Silviana is Damien's age, give or take a few years, but that woman is much older. They don't even look alike, except maybe for their eyes. What is going on? The water witch sneers. That's right, we are, she says. Whes, daughters of the same wretched mother. You didn't tell them anything, did you, Silviana? Isn't that why you were Mom's favorite? Always the little werewolf's friend, Nephra, you have to stop this. Whatever Mom did to you, what she did to me. Do you think this is only about our mother, Silviana? Oh no, I'm going to destroy those packs and take this city. It was mine, to begin with, wasn't it? What the heck is that woman talking about? I growl, glancing at Silviana. Just then, the water witch turns to me. It's odd all those vampires stopped attacking since she's talking. It's almost like they froze up. Is she really controlling them all? It's like she's holding her dogs back. Your golden eyes. Aren't you Gabriel's precious daughter? I stay speechless. How does she know about my biological father? What the heck? She looks at all of us, her eyes going slowly to Damien, Nathaniel, and Liam as an ugly smile appears on her face. Isn't that perfect? I already have 4 of you right there. Silviana, did you do this on purpose? How thoughtful of you. Now you're going to watch while I make those dogs suffer. For a second, a very scary thought crosses my mind, that maybe this was all part of a plan. It's wiped away as soon as I see Silviana's horrified expression, though, and how she steps forward, in a protective stance. Nephra, enough. Keep yelling and screaming all you want, Silviana. I've been waiting for this for way too long, little sister. If you're going to hinder me again, I'll kill you too. Mom didn't want this, Nephra. But the water witch clicks her tongue before Silviana finishes her sentence. She's obviously angrier now. Oh, I bet she was a really great mother to you, wasn't she? Danica was so obsessed with protecting Diane and her children, what did she care about me? Danica? That name sounds familiar. I'm sure I've heard it before. Where have I heard about Danica? I try to remember, a witch named Danica. Oh, moon goddess. Danica, I repeat. I know about Danica, the fire witch. Reagan told me about her, she was a friend of Queen Diane, the witch that was protecting the Blue Moon Pack. Don't tell me you are Danica's daughters. That's right, says Nephra with that scary smile of hers on. It all comes around, doesn't it? Diane's granddaughters, Danica's daughters and Judah's little bastards. Judah, like Judah Black? Not only my birth father but now there's 2? What the heck is going on? How does she know us all? The brothers start growling around me. Why is she mentioning our father? Do we know her? No idea. Nephra sighs. Oh, well, since Silviana didn't even bother to tell you the full story, I guess it's my chore, isn't it? At least you'll know why you'll die. I don't care much about how she wants to kill me or why, but I am curious to how can she know both my dad, Nate's father, and be Silviana's sister. I feel like something's ringing like crazy in my head. Moreover, we could use a break, and buy some more time for Nora too. Let's go back many, many years ago, says Nephra. You're a big girl now, you at least know who your grandmother was, Selena, don't you? The mighty, Holy Queen Diane. The alpha of your pack of Blue Moon Wolves. I was born 1 year after her twins, Lillian and Gabriel. Of course, the birth of a little water witch was nothing compared to the moon goddess reincarnation giving birth to twins. Even my own mother, Danica, didn't care much. Most WHES don't have much of a maternal side, do they, Silviana? So, when the younger sister of Diane left with some of the pack, to find a better location, she dropped me off with them. I remember that. Nora said that's how Cynthia, William's grandmother, and our great-aunt, came to live and settle in Silver City with a part of the Blue Moon clan, about 50 years ago. Tragically, once she got here Cynthia never could contact her older sister Diane again after that though, and the Blue Moon clan became the Sapphire Moon here. Damien and I exchange a look, agreeing silently to let her finish her little speech. He's probably mind-linking Nora to let her hear that too. I can feel her presence with us. I open up my link to her, feeling her snow-white wolf. She's enduring the pain, for now, but her baby isn't born yet. We need more time. Imagine, a little witch I was, so young, suddenly coming to a big city like this one, says Nephra. My mother, Danica, had sent me so there would already be a witch at the destination, ready to protect Diane's precious children. I was supposed to help Cynthia establish a communication with them, too, but we knew that would take a few years before I was strong enough to do that, Moon Goddess, so. That's why they lost contact, suddenly says Nora's voice in my mind, echoing my own thoughts. Yet, she was probably the one who didn't do her part of the job, and why Cynthia could never reach Diane again. I wasn't yet too interested to be Cynthia's little puppet. She was too busy taking care of the pack in Silver City, establishing themselves among the other clans and so on. She was truly a workaholic. But me? I had all of my time to grow up, though, so I would wander around, learn about my power and make some friends, humans and werewolves. I made one friend, one werewolf boy I grew fond of, with my weak little girl's heart. Can you guess who that boy was? Judah Black, I gasp. The pieces of the puzzle are starting to click into place slowly. Nora and I knew there was one part of the story that was missing, but I would have never imagined that was Nephra's, or that Silviana had anything to do with our birth pack. Yes. The strong, fierce Judah Black. Of course, I knew him when he was only a young wolf, fighting to find his place in his pack. He was an alpha, but he wasn't that strong. So, little by little, I helped him. You used your magic on him? I ask, stunned. Nephra gives me a little wink. I did. I mean, I was young, I thought it was innocent, a friend helping a friend. We grew up together, both getting stronger. I knew I was going to be this city's WH, and I was grooming my own alpha to lead the werewolves. I don't like where this is going. Damien, you knew? No. Nothing of this. Nephra sighs, almost a bit too dramatically. She's like an actress, having fun on her own stage, making her show and taking pleasure in laying down her story. I take deep breaths, glancing around. The fight is still going on further away, but here, she put everything on hold for her little speech's sake. I really hope this allows us to win sometime, we need any minute we can get until dawn comes. Men are men, she sighed. They are always hungrier for power. Judah was no different. He wanted to prove himself to everyone. To his pack leader, to his friend, to Silver City, to the whole world. I didn't see he was getting drunk on this. AWH's magic is not made to make someone stronger, said Silviana. There are secondary effects to a human or a wolf getting too much of it, that's right, Silviana. Judah Black was a junkie, completely submitted to me and my magic. Honestly, when I understood that, I decided it was fine. By then, I was completely disinterested in the blue, no, the Sapphire Moon pack who only wanted to use me. Instead, I wanted to make Judah and his pack mine. Being the Witch of the Sapphire Moon would mean doing Cynthia's bidding, like my mom did with Diane. I wanted to be my own WH, and make my own choices. Judah was giving me that. He was nothing without me. It was just another way of binding him to me, that's disgusting. No wonder our father got so strong so fast. I remember our former pack kept talking about that, how it was unnatural. Do you think the reason we are so strong too is because? I mean, he was our father. I hope not. Me too. I don't need him or that WH's magic. While the brothers bicker through the mind link, next to me Silviana shakes her head. You shouldn't have done that, Nephra. You were using his magic for something wrong and corrupting his mind. I didn't corrupt him enough. Suddenly yells her sister. He would have been mine, completely mine if it wasn't for that. Our mother. Our parents were fated mates. He probably ditched as soon as he could. So like our father. Judah wanted everything from me, says Nephra, but the one thing he didn't care about was my love for him. As soon as he had met that woman, it was over. This fated pairing of his was robbing him from me. Or the other way around, I growl. You were desperately holding on to a man that wasn't yours. Black was wrong for using you, but you could have ended things anytime. You were the one with the power. Nephra scoffs, glaring at me. You think it was that easy? I gave my childhood and my best years to that man, most of my magic for him to consume. Do you think it was easy to get over the first man I ever loved? The first person that ever showed me some affection. I was blind. Too blind to see the only thing Judah Black loved was power. Once I realized that, though it was late, I did my best to get out of his life. I wanted to be the strong, independent which I had always tried to be. So I refused to give him my magic anymore, no matter how hard he was begging. He went crazy. You don't go sober from magic in a few days. He couldn't let go easily. But I really did try. I abandoned him, to get a life of my own, leave him to his beloved mate and move on. But everyone here knows there was nothing reasonable about Judah Black. I glance at the brothers. From their growls, I would say they all agree. Nate and I never talked much about his father. I know he and Damien worked together to kill him, which I guess sums up about everything they shared other than a blood bond. Now, I'm starting to think the Mad King may have become mad because of his own hunger for power, and the witch that let him taste too much of it. Nephra shakes her head, and her expression goes from an annoying smirk to a sour one. He learned I was with child. And that didn't sit well with him. He didn't need 2 WHES, only 1. So, he started planning to take my baby away from me. I knew Judah Black enough, I knew that man would have no remorse about killing me or stealing my daughter. I didn't trust Cynthia and the Sapphire Moon would help me, not after I had basically left them to serve another pack. So, I secretly left Silver City, pregnant and scared, trying to run away from him. I don't know if he did it on purpose, but around the same time, Judah drove away all the vampires from Silver City. That was, right before Liam's birth, says Nate. One of them had bitten our pregnant mother. Our father was fighting them for years before he finally managed to send them away. He sent them to Queen Diane's city, though, according to William, says Nora, though I can feel she's panting. For now, I'm too interested to know how Nephra avoided the vampires, and why they got to our home city. I started running towards the north. I was hoping my mother would save me, help me find shelter and protect me and my child. However, I couldn't outrun the vampires. They caught me way before I reached my destination. I suddenly feel a cold shiver down my spine. Nephra looks at the closest vampires with a strange light in her eyes. I realize she hates them even more than she hates us, despite using them as she does. Those eyes. I know that expression, all too well. As if something was broken inside of her. Then, she slowly rolls up her long sleeves, and I gasp. Bite marks. Hundreds of them spread all over her skin. Now that I'm staring, even her hands are full of croissant scars. If her dress wasn't covering her throat and neck, I bet there would be dozens there too. I feel so disgusted just looking at it. Next to me, Silviana is shaken up too. I can't tell if she already knew, but she obviously feels sorry for what her sister went through. The vampires like to play with their food, says Nephra. Truth is, most humans get used to the pain until they aren't affected anymore and turn into junkies, addicted to that sensation. For werewolves, that bite is poisonous. For WHES, however, it is just horribly, atrociously painful. We don't die from it, we just suffer. It's like having razor blades plunging through your skin and pouring acid underneath. They bite me, over and over. I didn't die, but my body was filled with vampire venom. I lost my baby and all hopes. I would have gladly died, but instead, I was left to endure weeks and weeks of utter. I knew it. Nephra has the eyes of someone who lost a child. I can't even begin to imagine that woman went through. The physical and emotional pain must have been impossible to endure with a sound mind. I kept trying to run away, as soon as my magic could heal me. I always ran to the north, a bit further every time, until I finally escaped those beasts long enough to reach the border. I already can tell what happened next. The border, and its protective barrier. Diane put it up seeing her sister wasn't returning, to protect her children. It's like hearing Regan's story all over again, except that this time, her story makes more sense as to why the barrier was up. The vampires really were close, because of Nephra. As it turns out, she says, my mother's magic couldn't even recognize her own kin. She couldn't recognize her own daughter, coming back so many years later, not when my entire body was filled with vampire venom. The barrier Danica had put into place, with Diane, to protect the twins, was keeping me outside. It couldn't even recognize me as a WH. Just a creature broke by vampires, reeking of them. I tried to break that barrier so many times, I'm starting to understand the tragic truth. Regan and Nephra were trying to go back, at the same time. Whether Nephra's venom was preventing it from opening for Regan, or Regan's jealousy was adding to the problem, both women were locked out, probably around the same time. If I think about the timing, that should be around my birth and Nora's, too. That barrier must have been more cautious than ever, to protect us. Every time I failed to enter, the vampires would catch me, and the cycle of pain and suffering would start all over again. Again, and again. Imagine that. Knowing your own mother is there, behind that barrier, but she won't recognize you, because she's busy protecting someone else's children. Her new daughter, too. She glances down at Silviana. That's right, if they are half-sisters, it means Silviana was born during that time as well, and she was originally from the same place as us. 110. So many things make sense now. How Silviana knew about Nora and me, our connection, our relationship to the Sapphire Moon and Blue Moon packs. No wonder she helped us so much, she kept watching over us all this time. But when we talked about it, she always remained so enigmatic. She never gave me any answers, aside from my birth parents' death. You were born, in the same place as us. I can't help but ask. Silviana slowly nods. I was. Just a few years before you and Nora. I was just a child back then. I barely remember Queen Diane, just the day she passed away. I remember your birth, and Nora's, though. Your parents were so nice to me. Oh yes, I bet you lived a great life there, Silviana, says her sister. Just as much as the twins that our mother was so focused on protecting, and their children too. I had suffered so much, yet you were all living happy lives up there. My own mother had thrown me away for someone else's sake, and was leaving me to suffer in the hands of those vampires. While you were growing happily by her side. Mother had no idea, Nephra, Silviana said. Her barrier was just acting on its own, she couldn't have known it was you, shut up. She yells. I don't want to hear a word about my mother and me. Danica was the worst. All because I was born first, you had a great life while I was sent to Silver City. Someone has mommy issues. Shut up, Liam. We need to talk about your girlfriend's choices, too. I swear I had no idea. Yeah, that's our problem. I don't blame Liam. Silviana kept the truth from all of us. Liam couldn't have imagined the truth, neither could any of us. I turned to her, ignoring Nephra's fierce glare. That day. Do you know what happened? To our parents, Silviana nods sadly. After Queen Diane's death, the barrier was weakened. Mother could barely hold it up, and the vampires were trying to get in, too. She decided to keep it closed, to anyone, but Princess Lillian was worried about Regan. They had to open it sometimes, but it was getting more dangerous every time, until Nora's birth. Regan didn't know about Nora, I say. And you pretended you didn't know about her either. Regan really didn't. I think Princess Lillian had just gotten pregnant when we saw her for the last time. I thought keeping your identities a secret was the best. The vampires were after the royals. Royals have incredible power, and they wanted to get rid of them. They had found the perfect source of power to fight them, and my mother's power, too, me, sneered Nephra. The more they abused me and drank my blood, the stronger they became, just like Judah Black. It was only a question of time before that barrier would break, wasn't it, Silviana? Our mother was getting old, too, for a WH. With Diane gone, she couldn't hold on much longer. She knew the vampires would attack the minute they could, said Silviana. Princess Lillian tried to take over her mother's in helping her maintain the barrier, but, the day Nora was born, oh, Moon Goddess. It's exactly the same as now. Though the witch does maintain the barrier, the Luna is the own channeling the moon power. However, a Luna giving birth just can't possibly focus on her power properly. Nora is experiencing the same thing as her own mother, Princess Lillian, did more than 20 years ago. Nora, you're hearing that? Yes. I can't believe it. My birth was. Don't you start saying about it being your fault. She stays quiet, whether it's because of another contraction or because she doesn't want to say it. I'm choking up, right now, too. All those tragic events are unfolding under a new light now. Though I resent Silviana for keeping quiet, I'm starting to understand why she did. She's on the verge of tears, too, looking awfully sorry. The day Nora was born, Princess Lillian and my mother just couldn't keep the barrier much longer. A few hours later, vampires entered our city. They had been accumulating for months outside. There were too many of them. Princess Lillian only had a few minutes with Nora. She was diminished after the birth, so she asked my mother to pass her power to her daughter. I was with her, until the end. I was holding Nora in my arms when Lillian, she's crying for real now, and I feel my own tears coming, too. I feel Nora's heart, echoing my own, breaking slowly as we both finally listen to the truth about our parents' death. Your parents, Selena, and my mother, they told us to run away. Gabriel told your mother to take you and go. Althea was a human, she couldn't fight. You were just 2 years old back then. Althea was the bravest human I ever knew. She told you not to cry, soothed you and ran with me. It was the most terrifying night of my life. We spent such a long time hiding, running, hiding again, desperate to find a way to escape. At some point, it became clear she was easier to track because she was human. She told me to run away. Your mom knew Nora and I would have died. So I parted ways with her, and I used the few of my powers to hide us as I could, and run, carrying Nora with me. I can't believe it. Silviana shouldn't have been older than 10 years old, back then. She managed to run away, carrying newborn Nora with her, saving both their lives. Meanwhile, I don't know how, but according to Reagan, my mother and I actually managed to survive until the fight was over. How? From what she says, Silviana doesn't seem to know either. When I arrived at the scene, says Nephra, everything was over. My home was burned to ashes. Mother had sacrificed herself, in a desperate attempt to save the twins' children. I hid from the remaining vampires, who were still fighting the survivors or feeding themselves, and crawled all the way to our source of magic there. I saved as much time as I could to replenish my magic, and while I did, I found something. The traces of another, younger warehouse. Her glare to Silviana makes no mistake about who she recognized. I couldn't believe my mother had another daughter while I was gone. I knew you were a young Earth WH. I looked through my mother's things, the few she didn't burn to ashes. I tried using my magic to find you, the twins or their children, but you were all gone. Reagan had probably taken me away prior to Nephra's arrival on the site. She said she arrived shortly after the fight was over, too. Thank Moon Goddess we left this before this crazy woman showed up. I was so furious, she continues. After so many years, I was finally back home, to the place I had left so many years ago, but only to find everything burnt, destroyed. After everything I went through, after all of my sufferings, my own mother had died to save someone else's child. She hadn't saved me when I endured the vampire's venom for weeks, but she killed herself for Lillian and Gabriel Blue Moon. For their children to live. I resented those twins even more than the vampires. Moon Goddess, that woman is damaged. I can see the madness in her eyes. She's completely broken inside. She suddenly points a finger at Silviana. And you? Knowing she replaced me with another daughter. No wonder she never cared about me for 20 years. Silviana shakes her head, frantically. I've never seen her so shaken up before, but for once, she actually looks her age. Her voice is so hoarse right now, I can barely recognize it. You're wrong. Nephra, our mother believed in you until the end, she says, sobbing erratically. When everything happened, I went for the south. I knew that's where mother had sent my older sister, with Cynthia. I walked for days, with Nora, hiding in human towns and trying to find Silver City, until I finally reached it, many weeks later. But I couldn't find any trace of you or even a pack called the Blue Moon. I didn't know they had been renamed the Sapphire Moon, I had never met any of them. I didn't know what to do. It had been over 30 years. Cynthia had died, there was no trace of my older sister or any witch being around, I just didn't know whom to ask. All I knew was that I had to keep Nora's identity a secret. Vampires could still chase after us. I don't know if it was my fear as a child or my instincts that made me think that way, she was so young. I have no idea how I would have reacted if I had been left alone. I was lucky Reagan found me and took me here. In a way, Silviana had the same reasoning, but she was an 8 or 9 years old no matter how mature she was, with little knowledge of the world and a newborn baby to take care of. It's already a miracle she got to Silver City at all, but basically anyone that could have helped her in Silver City was gone. Nephra was gone. There was no way she knew what had happened to her older sister, they had never even actually met. Even as a says Silviana, it was hard to take care of Nora, I was way too young. So I used my powers to find what would be the best home for her. I knew I had to conceal her identity, so it didn't matter which pack it was, as long as she could grow up with her kind, with werewolves, as if she had been born there. I knew werewolves care for their own, especially the pups. So I left her on a doorstep, with a note to ask those people to take care of her, with her name and birthday, trusting my magic would help me pick the best home for her. She didn't find the best home for Nora. She found her actual biological father's home. Moon Goddess, says Nora. Alex said I had appeared on their doorstep when I was a newborn. I thought my dad had brought me there for them to raise me without his wife knowing I was his. Turns out the guy. I mean, your father really didn't know. Silviana's magic did the job, picking the house with your actual kin in it. This is crazy. He probably realized later that you were his real daughter, though, just like his wife. I wonder if he even knew your biological mom had gotten pregnant with you. I'm just as speechless. I can hear Nora's crying, I can't tell if it's sadness, relief over her father's truth, or due to her contraction pains. Her family's story, and Silviana's, is even sadder than I thought. Nephra doesn't seem sorry one bit, though. She is looking at Silviana with eyes of utter disgust. It took me a while to find them. First, I had to fight the vampires. Trust me, I enjoyed that the most. They are surprisingly weak to water magic, you know. So, once I had replenished my magic enough, hiding in our mother's lair, I decided to use that vermin the same way they had used me. I corrupted them slowly to my side, making their vampire queen my slave, poisoning her mind. She already hated the werewolves, it was almost too easy to persuade them to target the royals that had escaped. I have never imagined that you would have brought the children back to Silver City. How ironic was that? I spent such a long time searching for you, I even thought you might have actually died. I don't know much about magic and stuff, but Silviana being an Earth I'll bet she surely wasn't the easiest to find in all the forest between our birthplace and here. Between the time Nephira took to conquer the vampires, and the time it took her to search for her sister and us, it probably saved us a few years. I had almost given up, you know, when I felt it. A wave of moon energy, an awakening to the moon's power. So similar to Lillian or Diane's signature aura. It came from the south. Never in a million years did I think you would have been able to reach Silver City, Silviana. Nora's power. Nora's sudden awakening to her wolf was what guided Nephira right here. She went from a quiet girl to fully open to her royal potential. Everyone in Silver City felt the Luna's slow rise. No wonder that witch felt something. Nephira sneered. You're more talented than I thought, Silviana. You made sure I couldn't find her until she would be strong enough to fight me, didn't you? What did you do? I asked Silviana. I put some sort of lock on Nora's mind, she admits. I sealed her royal power to a place deep inside her mind, where it wouldn't awaken unless she had a strong stimulus. Let me guess. Like meeting her fated pair? Holy Moon Goddess. So Nora meeting Damien was the trigger? No wonder she went from a kitty to a tiger after that. It could have been the RE attempt, too. She lost control when she was in the most danger. Or her first shape-shifting, too. Everyone felt her unique wolf's royal aura after that. I did feel something changing after meeting Damien, admits Nora. But ugh. You doing okay, Nora? Yeah, I'll manage. Just. Please be safe. Be safe, she says. I want to cry internally. Even if she says that there's no way she didn't feel William's passing or all the others. And despite all the talking right now, this fight is still far from over, let's face it. I hoped Nora could be hidden until she was old enough to defend herself, continues Silviana. I stayed away from her, and secretly established myself, watching our surroundings. Since I was born, I had been told to watch out for people trying to attack the royals, especially vampires. I actually met with Reagan on one of my trips to the outside a bit later. I was relieved you had survived, Selena, though I have no idea how that happened. But once again, I decided it would be better for me to stay away, and I knew Reagan was watching over you. You did a pretty good job of hiding them. I would never have found them if it wasn't for her child's awakening. I was probably harder to find due to my human heritage, too. My mother really protected me, even after her death. However, unlike Nora's seal or my human blood, Estelle was born without anything to hide her inner wolf, so, as we feared, as soon as her inner puppy awakened, she slowly became another target. I exchange a glance with Nate. Only a few minutes have passed, but it's enough for everyone to catch a little break. I don't feel any rested, though, this is just too much information at once. Who knew we were still missing such a big part of the story, and all this time it was Silviana's. I need to keep her talking, though. I don't care what that woman went through, she's still targeting us. The first attack was after Nora's awakening, right? I ask. Nephira turns her eyes to me, and I realize their color is changing. Like Silviana, her eyes can change between several shades depending on her emotions. That woman is so thin, too, and her skin so pale, it's like her big blue-gray eyes are the only color on her, making it even more obvious. When I realized you were in Silver City, I just lost it. Of all places, in the city I should have been, I should have owned. It was painful to return, after all those years. I hated the idea of seeing Judah again, but as it turns out, that rotten man had already died, didn't he? She glares at all three brothers, who growl together, warning her back. Oh, your auras are so like his. I was speechless, but it added to the pleasure of attacking this place. I lead the vampires, telling them I wanted the royal, not even knowing there were two of you. No wonder the bloodsuckers targeted Nora specifically back then. Yet, I couldn't enter. I attacked from afar, unsure about the whole situation. First, I didn't expect Silver City's pack to act all together. But then, the real shock. The Earth WH. Of all people, I sensed our family's blood's magic here, my own half-sister, suddenly protecting Silver City and running to the werewolf's side. Now that was a big surprise. I bet. She probably had forgotten about her half-sister at all. I don't get how she recognized her sibling without even seeing her face to face, but I guess that's another witch thing I'll never get. I have to admit, I lost that day. I left most of my vampires to die, and ran away. I knew I couldn't win against you, Silviana. You had the stronger element, you were younger, more powerful. And you had years to extend your protection to Silver City. I underestimated you, Lillian's daughter and those three. Plus you, Gabriel's daughter, the one I couldn't even detect. When I felt how strong you all were, and how the vampires couldn't match, I decided to turn away. More like we kicked you and your vamps bad enough that you had to run with your tail between your legs. I glance at the brothers' side. They are growling, still tense. They know the fight can resume any minute now. I try to feel Nora, but she's overwhelmed by the pain. Moon Goddess, I hope her baby will at least be born without complications. We really don't need more issues. 111. It feels a lot longer, but only a few minutes have passed since Nephra began her argument with Silviana. I try to reach out to Nora, but she's too caught up in the pain, now. Somehow, I think baby number 2 is in a hurry to come out. I already love that kid. Once again, I had to be patient. I knew you'd protect Silver City for as long as you could, and Judah and the twins' little bastards too. So I just took my time, gathering even more vampires than before, after having their vampire queen acting like a puppet held by my strings. I didn't notice one of them was gone for some time, but once I felt another's royal print, I rushed there. She killed Regan, but couldn't get to Estelle or kill me. Silviana arrived right in time to save me and have her run away. Nephra shrugs. I didn't want to rush, anyway. I had an army almost ready, and I just wanted to destroy you all at once, with Silver City. So I waited for this opportunity, until today. Now, finally, I'll take back what is mine, and get rid of all of you. I growl, pissed off. This woman went from a martyr to a villain, but I just can't listen to her any longer. So what? I say. Are we supposed to feel sorry for you now? Do you think you will feel better after this? Nephra immediately glares at me, not hiding her anger. A few steps away from us, I can hear the river, going wild, the water raging, but I try to ignore it. You can never understand how I felt. My own mother abandoned me for someone else. She lived in comfort while I was left alone to grow in an unknown city. The only man I ever loved threw me away when he was done using me. And then, I lost my child to those wretched abominations of vampires. How you dare tell me what can make me feel better or not? I step forward, mad enough to growl, barely keeping my wolf from jumping out. I'm tired of listening to this woman's rant. Yet, cry me a river, I shout back. You think you're a victim? What about all of the people you deceived when you didn't help Cynthia reach out to her sister? The families you split just because you were a selfish brat. How dare you? She yells. You know what, it's about time someone woke you up from your little messed up drama. Do you think you're the only victim out there? Well, sorry to say, you're not the only one who's lost their parents, or their child. I get you went through some, but you know what? You can sk it up. I lost my parents twice, my mentor, my baby, and that still didn't make me one of a heinous like you. I know where I made amends for that. I own my mistakes, I don't blame anyone else for them. I let my aura explode out as my anger reached its peak on the last few words, but honestly, I'm fed up with this WH. Nephra isn't impressed. Instead, she looks more furious than ever, and suddenly, a wave comes from the river to her feet and then gravitates around her hands. It's quite impressive, like watching some special effect. But this is very real, and I know she can do some harm with that water now floating around her. You think you can judge me? She yells. You know nothing. I never had anyone. My mother left me, I had no family, no friends, no one to rely on to. You know what it's like, to lose everyone? To lose your only hope, your child? Judah Black, Queen Diane, her children, they all took everything from me. Oh, yes, I know, I growl. I also know what it's like to lose one child, they have to abandon the other for her safety. I left my daughter alone in the woods, not knowing if I'd ever see her again, because of you. Maybe your mother wanted to protect you by sending you to Silver City, maybe she had bad reasons, but if you were so desperate to see her again, maybe you should have worked and actually helped Cynthia as you should have. Selena. I know Nate wants to comfort me, but right now, I just want to shut up for once and for all. I am so fed up with her blaming everyone but herself. You want to take it out on someone? Well, sorry, everybody you blamed is already dead. The only person you should find guilty right now is yourself. Nora and I grew up without knowing our parents, too. Damien and Nate killed their own father to save themselves from the bastard he was. Who are you going to take it on next, huh? It's your mistake, own it. Nephra's expression is ugly at that moment. Yeah, the truth hurts. You. She screams. I'll get rid of all of you. I guess that's it for her arguments. She suddenly raises her water above her head, and we all get ready, knowing this is our signal. The fight is back on. Damien, Nate, and I jump together to attack, but she launches her water attack as soon as we move. It's way bigger than what I had thought it'd be. I'm hit by a full wave, and feel my body drown and thrown away before something catches me. I choke a bit, hardly catching my breath. Thank Moon Goddess I managed not to swallow any. I realize I'm caught in some muddy roots, before Silviana moves them again, creating several barriers between her sister and us. Nephra tries to attack again, but the roots sprouting in accelerated movements from the ground break her waves, transforming them into little splashes on us. For a minute, I think we might be able to take her down when I remember she's not alone. As soon as she attacked, all the nearby vampires resumed the fight too. The second I'm released from Silviana's magic wood or whatever it is, I need to jump to avoid an attack. Those things. I don't know if they used her little speech to gather, but there's more and more of them around us. A lot more than before. I need to jump, kick, throw a punch, run and jump again to avoid the ones coming onto me. I try to keep an eye on what's going on around, but I only catch a glimpse of Damien, surrounded too. They seem to have decided to attack the strongest of us in groups. I hear Liam growling furiously too, meaning he doesn't have time to play anymore. I use my silver bars again, managing to keep them off me, but I don't have a second to breathe. The ground trembling dangerously and the sounds of waves crashing tell me the witch sisters are going hard at it, too. When I think I'm about to be surrounded, another root suddenly sprouts out to impale several vampires or create another barrier. I appreciate the help, but I have no idea how Silviana can keep it up. This whole fight is insane. Wherever I look, it's mud, vines, roots, blood, werewolves or vampires. Are werewolves growling somewhere behind me, and vampires screeching from all sides too? If it wasn't for our mind link, there's just no way I could give any orders in that uproar and be heard. I have never seen so much violence on such a big scale. We just keep fighting, growling, trying to kill them one after another. I'm covered in blood and mud. Some managed to scratch me, but most of this blood is from the ones I killed. I try to rip their heads off, tear their throat open or impale their heart. Those creatures are resistant, and if they are not killed properly, they can still move whatever's left of them. It's a horror movie. I can't help but scream when one of them suddenly scratches my back deep. Moon Goddess, that hurts. Selena. Nate, no. He has to stay where he is. I keep fighting, but a few seconds later, I realize another wolf came to fight next to me. I kick away another vampire, avoid one's bite and brutally smack its head before letting myself glance. Levi, don't help me. Your back is bleeding, Selena. You can't protect your... Before he can finish his sentence, another vampire jumps at him, making him lose his focus on the mind link. He should be way behind, not in the front line with me. I keep trying to tell him to back off, but he won't listen. I do feel the pain, but I can't take it. I smack another vampire with my silver pole and explode his head on the ground when the soil violently shakes again. What the heck are they doing? I try to shift my position to get closer to Silviana. The two WHES are having an insane fight. I take half a second glances between two punches or kicks, but this is out of this world. Nephra is going all out against her sister, sending wave after wave, even shaping her water like ice picks to send them Silviana's way. Despite their several years difference, Silviana is not letting herself be dominated, though. She is controlling so many roots and even some nearby trees' branches so easily, I realize Nephra was right to be cautious of her. When she's in difficulty, the ground will shake again, and a new crater emerges between her and her sister, putting some distance and destabilizing Nephra and the vampires around. The difference in strength is starting to show between them, but unfortunately, Nephra's weakness is compensated by the growing number of vampires. I feel like we have been fighting for hours, but they just keep coming, more and more of them. The werewolves keep fighting back, furiously, but I can feel everyone's injuries, and the wolves leaving us. I furiously growl, trying to gather all of my strength. I throw my poles into the face of two nearby vampires, shift my balance to send my foot right into their head right after, a round kick and sends them flying further away from me. I growl furiously and shapeshift, jumping into my wolf appearance as easily as putting on clothing. The vampires react strangely to my shifting. Some retreat, others hiss even more furiously at me. I guess my cream-white fur gave it away. I make a warning growl, extending my aura like a halo around. To my surprise, instead of reacting to my growl, a lot of vampires crawl back, terrified. Selena, your eyes are glowing. Glowing? What is going on now? I do feel my aura too, actually, growing wilder like a burning sun in my core. What is that? I extend it again, to reach my friends, all of the pack, and this time, it's not bundle of feeble mind links I try to hold on to, but a strong connection I feel, like a solid cord connecting me to all of them. I can feel everyone, absolutely everyone. Or, I don't know, I feel like there's something else, tickling, some shadows I can't manage to connect to. Another code I need, something I need to decipher with my aura. It's ringing in my mind, like a call I just don't know how to answer. Selena. For Moon Goddess' sake, Levi, go back. Please. You'll get yourself killed. He won't be able to hold like that long. There are just too many vampires here. Even the Black Brothers and I just can't catch a break, and Levi is no match. Don't worry about me. He is doing okay so far, but one wrong move and he'll die. I just can't watch him and fight my own fights. I try to get closer to him, but the dances of the roots around are confusing me. I can't make any reckless position change without risking to be hitting one. Silviana knows our positions, but she probably can't constantly watch out for us if we move too much. The only one who seems rather comfortable in this configuration is Liam. It's obvious he's got some experience in random environments or with Silviana's power. He's like a fireball, jumping from one spot to another, easily adjusting to the root's random appearances, even sometimes using them as support for jumping all fangs out. Damien and Nate are doing okay, judging by the bodies around them, but they have been careful not to move too much, facing the same issue as I. All of us has the same objective, getting to Nephra while eliminating as many vampires as we can on the way, but I can feel the other wolves are suffering from our absence on the rest of the battlefield. You think you can win, Silviana? Yells Nephra. I can kill any of your little dogs anytime I want. Nephra, please, stop this. You can still come back to Silver City. We don't have to fight, you're my older sister. Your older sister that was left and abandoned while you had everything. You grew up with mother, with friends. I had nothing. Nothing. They keep arguing, Silviana begging her to stop again and again, but I can tell Nephra has gone mad being repair. It's not like Iris. My cousin was jealous to the core, but she could still hear us, be reasoned. She was smart enough, too smart. Nephra is just. She left all of her feelings in one place and won't look at it again. She won't hear, she won't listen. She's so sure of her truth, nothing Silviana will say can get to her. She spent years persuading herself she was right, that she was a victim and we deserved to die for making her life miserable. I can tell just by looking at her. She lives only for her revenge. That's all she has left. Selena. Silviana's scream gets me by surprise. She made a mistake and, at the last second, I see one of Nephra's ice peaks flying my way. I try to dodge. The thing scratches my other shoulder, but I throw myself on the ground, and manage to avoid it. I'm lying on the mud, and that's all it takes for two vampires to jump on me. I'm on my tummy, I know I won't make it back in time to defend myself. I try to roll over to at least manage to push them away with my legs, but even that is too late. I see their fangs, coming right at me, when a brown silhouette covers me. I scream internally. I can feel Levy's pain, the furious bites deep on his shoulder, on his neck. Levy! Levy! Levy, move! Levy! He can't hear, I can't reach him. I see his body, right above mine, but I feel this horrible hole, growing larger and larger as the pain sinks in, giving up to the darkness. No, Moon Goddess, no, 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 not Levy, please, not him. I want to cry, to scream, but this is a fight. One of my best friend's bodies is the only thing protecting me, but I feel the horrible movements coming from above, as the vampires keep biting and biting, killing him in a horrible, painful way. I want to scream in horror, I just can't bear it. I bite my feelings in and shift position to jump out, and grab the closest vampire, ripping his neck in one bite. One by one, I take down all those bloodsuckers, cursed creatures who were attacking him. I know it's useless, it's too late to save him, but I just attack and attack again, furiously, like some death machine. I'm blind furious. I take all those monsters down, away from my friend. I'm choking up, crying, but I need to release all of my fury. I can feel Danny and their family, and they all felt him die too, and I'm even more furious and sad for them. Get to them! Kill them all, you useless vampires! Yells Nephra. Get to their Luna's house. More vampires appear. Moon Goddess, is there no end to this? I growl furiously, as the anger gets to me. We are all here, all werewolves fighting to defend our turf, all connected, all standing, growling furiously. We are not letting them in. 112. The fight goes on and on, I don't know for how long. I'm tired, my injuries hurt, but I don't allow myself any rest or mistake. I know my baby star's life is at stake, Nora's, and her baby's too. I am not letting those vampires or this wrecked witch touch a strand of hair on them. Nora, please tell me you're alright so far. Yet. The nurse says I'll be ready, soon. Just, give me a minute. I can give her a lot of time, as long as she gives birth to a healthy baby and is okay herself, or so I hope. This is far to be over here, too. I just can't see the end of the vampires, no matter how many we kill. How much did she gather? We are stronger, as our bodies are conceived to kill vampires, our feral enemy, in the first place, but there is nothing we can do about the difference in numbers. They just keep coming. It's a freaking invasion. Moreover, we suffer casualties too. With the way my aura changed earlier, I can now feel even more clearly each wolf dying, too, it's just overwhelming. If I wasn't focusing on my own fight, I'd be crumbling under the sadness. But I can't allow myself to be weak now. So many people are counting on us. I keep fighting, still trying to make my way to Nephra. We need to kill her. She controls the vampires. I just don't get how she can control so many at once. I'm struggling to get past her vampires, and Silviana and her are still busy exchanging water and soil all over the place. I have to be cautious of everything happening. Each emerging root can make me stumble, each water pike can injure me. I'm fine so far, but it only takes one miss. Selena, we have a problem. I just saw the vampire queen. I saw her too. What? What's going on? I rip another limb, bite another vampire, trying to sense where they are trying to mind link me from. I can feel Damien, Liam, and Nate are hearing the sudden voices echoing too. Wait, was that Iris? Yeah, her lavender hair. It's Iris. What is she doing? Watch out. What? I try to focus on all the information incoming, trying to hold on to the ones who saw this with their own eyes. This is like such a juggle of hell. My body has to be here fighting, but my mind is torn between my focus here and the mind link. I try to jump on several vampires at once to get out of this crowd and catch 1 or 2 precious seconds to listen. I look for the brothers, spread around me, dealing with the same issues. The vampires are definitely gathered in bigger numbers around us. They are not like many jumping on us at once, but almost as if those bastards were queuing and circling around us, making sure to contain the brothers and I. When did those bloodsuckers become smart enough to prepare such a strategy in the middle of a fight? Damien, Nate, Liam, you heard that? Yeah, go. But we can't get to the witch this way, Selena, just go. I decide to listen to him, though I feel bad for leaving the fight's main area. I jump on the side, biting off another vampire's leg, dragging him with me in my run and mowing some vampires as if I was reaping anyone standing on my way. I try to focus on the direction given by our wolves. Iris, why would Iris be with the vampire queen? And what of Chris? I try to help who I can on my way. I furiously attack a vampire that was gripping a wolf, break up a crowd of them, throw some bites to help out whoever I can. Our line of defense is still doing okay, and I'm amazed by our betas. Lysandra is a monster by herself. No wonder the Purple Moon clan was famous for its warriors. I run past her, she almost seems to be having fun, taking down one vampire after another as if they are merely toys for her to play with. I spot Tanya, too, doing about as well. After all, she was one of the Blood Moon's fighting instructors. Her brother is more of a surprise, under his usual calm demeanor, he's another killing machine, and their family's giant size is good to intimidate the vampires too. Those siblings are worth 2 or 3 betas by themselves. I keep running, but there are also bodies. Those people I had felt dying, I get to see their corpses now, sadly covered in mud, while their friends are still fighting nearby. No one has time to close their eyes or cry for them, and it breaks my heart. I think I saw William, too, my cousin's peculiar black and white fur, now dirted with blood and mud, lying a few steps away, but I just can't go see him now. I silently apologize, but this war is far from over. I finally reach a little uphill, where a lot of wolves are cornered by a humongous crowd of vampires. A few paces away, with 4 dead werewolves' bodies at her feet, I see the one who has to be the vampire queen. She's easy to recognize, her hair is completely white, her red eyes brighter than the rest, and she is in some dark lace dress. Who wears a dress on a battlefield? Nephra and her are just so confident, it annoys me. However, I have another problem, right next to her is Iris, standing. My cousin looks different. I can't describe it, but her eyes look strange, almost empty. Her hair is a hectic mess, too, and she's still in her outfit from when she left her cell. What did happen with her? And where is Chris? I can't feel his wolf, did he run away? I jump into the group of werewolves, resuming the fight right away. My sudden arrival breaks the vampires' cohesion, throwing them into disarray and allowing my peers to fight back. I bite again, use my claws to rip their white flesh until they can't move. My white fur isn't so white anymore, most of it has turned an ugly brown. I try to ignore the horrid smell of blood and flesh, and help those guys fight off their assailants. If only I can get to the vampire queen. I mean, my knowledge about vampire clans is rather limited, to say the least, but from Silviana's words, she is the one controlling the vampires and their bloodthirst. If we can get the vampire queen down, that will be half of the job done. The problem is, she is standing too far. Just like Nephra, she is standing out of my reach, actually out of any battle. Just watching whatever's going on. At least the witch is busy fighting Silviana. That vampire queen is just ogling at the war zone, comfortably standing still, and Iris standing right by her side. I know this isn't good. My cousin is standing too close to her, and too confidently. Iris, what the heck are you doing? I know I can still mind link her. Iris was punished, but never banished from Silver City, she left on her own. It takes more than that to cut off ties. What is it, Elena? Are you surprised? She says with a sneer, loud enough for me to hear despite the distance. You didn't think I would stay put in my cell like a good girl, did you? I certainly didn't think you would be dumb enough to ally yourself with our worst enemy. Even vampires have their use, Elena, she replied with a blank voice. What is wrong with her? Something doesn't feel right about her, or about her answers. I know Iris too well, or at least I thought I did. This isn't the gentle Iris or the wicked woman who was defying me from her cell. Where is Chris? She looks shaken up for a second, then she goes back to that strange look of emptiness, and suddenly, I realize. That's her problem. Chris. Iris, what happened to Chris? What is it? Asks the vampire queen with a giggle. Let me guess. Is she bothering you about that adorable little brother of yours? I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Vampire Queen looks way too amused, and Iris' face is even whiter than hers, if possible. Iris, where is Chris? I should thank you again, Iris, purred the Vampire Queen. That wolf was such a nutritious meal, no. No, 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 Iris wouldn't have done that. She wouldn't have sold her own brother to vampires. It just can't be. They left together, why did the two of them go to the vampires? I had to make an agreement with the vampires, said Iris, with a detached voice. For them to trust me. You sold your own brother to them. You wretched woman. Iris, I swear you'll go to for this. I'll make you pay. Oh, don't worry, this little girl was quite generous. She even told us where to find your precious Luna. You know, it definitely saves us quite some time to know where to look. I stay speechless. Nora's house. She told them where is Nora's house. This means, if only one vampire can go past our defenses, they can head straight there. It's not going to be them needing to spread in Silver City to find her. One vampire gets in and it will be a race to catch him before he gets there. I just can't believe it. Even for Iris, this is the lowest of the low. I can't believe you. You traitor. You. Your own brother. Get ready instead of yelling. What? I smash another vampire and get one off one of the werewolves' back. That was Iris' voice, just now. What the heck? What is she preparing? I can't stop growling at her, so much my throat hurts, but she seems impossible. More and more vampires are crawling to us, to the point even I am getting seriously in trouble. I get another deep bite, on my shoulder, but bite back and get that vampire off my back. You, says the Vampire Queen. It can't be your. I really don't have time to play her petty games. I bite a bloodsucker's head off and roll on the ground to avoid another one's attack. I can't stop to think. Bite her! Screams the Vampire Queen. Bite that dog! The white female one. In seconds, I feel all red stares on me. That definitely isn't good. They suddenly jump at me, and I have to retreat. What? I have had a lot to endure until now, but a horde of vampires is not something I can handle on my own. Selena. I can hear Nate, worried, coming to my rescue. I sense him running to escape his opponents, running to me in utter panic. Nate, don't. However, I don't have time to mind link right now. One of the vampires bites me violently, on my previously injured shoulder, making me internally scream in pain. His fangs are deep in, and I can't shake him off. I try biting, rolling over, but that bloodsucker has decided to stay glued to me. The sharp pain of his fangs lacerating my scar is driving me crazy with pain. Black dots obscure my vision, and I feel myself stagger, the pain making everything else numb. Selena. Suddenly, he lets go, and I see a black wolf overshadowing me, growling furiously at the nearby vampires. Nate. I need a few seconds to regain my senses, but my shoulder is still painful as well. Their fangs are worse than chainsaws. I don't even dare look at my bleeding shoulder, I need to get my head back into the fight, stand up. Nate's presence is the most comforting and reassuring thing I could hope for. Come on, sunshine, get up. I got you. I know, I know. I can just sit and cry about the pain right now. I gather my strength, hoping my healing will speed things up a bit because this is really no state to be in for a fight. Nate hasn't been spared either. His ear is cut up, the blood has dried up in his fur already. His healing power probably could have done something about it if he wasn't missing a full chunk. He's got some cuts all around, from scratches, and I can sense his left knee is painful, but no bite mark for him so far. I try to forget the pain and resume the fight, jumping on one of the vampires that were threatening to attack my mate's open flank. With Nate by my side, I'm even more eager to fight and defend myself. We are together, with a handful of other wolves, trying to fight back the waves of vampires. The presence of the vampire queen nearby doesn't help, all those bloodsuckers are desperate to protect their leader. We take them down, one after another, but it's not ending. I'm just amazed at their number. I understand that Nephra had years to gather them, but just how does she get so many? The human from earlier didn't lie, there are thousands of them. Selena, an idea to get to that vampire queen? Not yet. The plan, for now, is to survive, but working on the next step. Watch you left, you. I'm surprised to hear Iris in my head again, but I jump just in time to avoid another bite. Did I just dream it, or is she really helping me? Why? I keep fighting, I can't focus on too many things at once. However, Iris keeps giving me instructions. All of them just turn out to be right, and slowly, helping me get closer to the vampire queen. Which doesn't make her happy. Get her! Get that dog down! Screeches the vampire queen. Feeling angsty now? I'm so going to get that vampire queen. I slowly progress, and as I keep running, fighting, biting, I realize my observation from earlier is true. The more focused I am on that golden, shiny aura of mine, the more the vampires are wary of me. I don't know if they actually sense my aura, but there's something they definitely don't like when I increase it, when I use more of my alpha senses. It's hard to describe, like my halo can grow, expand, or heat up when I want. In any case, it makes them back off, reluctant to come near. It's the same reaction as when they avoided the sunlight earlier. Whatever you're doing, babe, continue, it's working. It seems like it. I keep communicating with Nate to improve our tandem, but I also keep an ear open to Iris' random advices. What is she planning? That dog. She's resistant to vampire venom. Roars the vampire queen. So that was it. Now that I think about it, I've received quite a dose since earlier, and I'm generally fine. It hurts like hell, but like a regular bite or claw injury, not like poison. Any wolf, though we resist it, would definitely be at least sick after receiving so much, but for some reason, my healing ability makes me immune? And I was complaining about not healing fast like others. I quickly share with Nora, but she's definitely in the middle of her delivery. Our link is faint for the first time since we met. She's probably not in the right state to give a about her inner wolf right now. Finally, despite her slowly stepping back, we are almost within the vampire queen's reach. If she didn't plan to fight at all, she might want to reconsider that. Her face is getting whiter, almost grey. She steps back, seeing me coming closer, looking scared for the first time. Just you wait, you. Suddenly, I see Nate jumping at her, a bit closer than me, and something in my gut warns me. Something bad's about to happen. It's too easy. Everything slows down for a second. I see Nate's black fur, suspended in the air, and the vampire queen's arm moving. Something shines, and I see the blade before I scream. My instinct screams it's silver. I see the surprise in Nate's eyes, and, the next second, my own scream resonates in the air. Nate's blood splatters on me, and I see my mate fall on the ground. I don't hesitate and run towards them, all fangs out, going for the kill. No vampire can stop me. I see the vampire queen's horrible smirk, as she elevates her blade again, ready to pierce me, but no matter what, I won't stop. I'm avenging my mate. I see the blade, a second away from my head when something suddenly takes it out of my eyesight, and I feel a bump on my shoulder. The sound of flesh being apart, and I bite violently into the vampire's queen throat, her eyes wide open in horror. But she's not looking at me. Her eyes are on Iris, who grabbed her hand to impale herself on the blade, up to her chest. My cousin has her mouth covered in blood as she gags out, and a sneer on her face. "Tha. That was for Eric." 113. Like an enraged animal, I keep biting deep, digging into the flesh until my mouth is full of blood, and the vampire queen stops moving under me. It was over in a few seconds. I didn't think. I keep biting, making sure the queen is dead, but my eyes are on Iris. I can't believe it. She slowly falls on her flank, in the mud, and her face is suddenly a few inches away from mine. Her eyes are open, but the light inside is almost gone. I try to hold on to the little bit of her inner wolf I still feel inside her. Iris. Why? Chris' idea. For me, for Eric. Eric. She's gone. She. What? Chris' idea? What were they thinking? I still can't believe it, but my cousin just sacrificed herself to help me kill the vampire queen, and I let go of my prey. Nate. I need to check on him. Unlike my expectations, the vampires don't attack me as I run to him. Thank Moon Goddess, they let me through. The death of their queen seems to have shocked them. They all start screaming, a horrible high-pitched sound. I couldn't care less. I can't have anything slowing me, I just run to Nate, lying down. Oh, Moon Goddess, no, no. Nate. Nate. I'm fine. I have another definition of fine. I'm trembling, shaking in despair, unable to accept this horrible sight. He's bleeding so much, and his arm. His arm is, laying away from him, completely chopped off. Can I even fix this? Can we do something? I go to bend over him, about to shift back, but he growls. Selena, don't you think about it. I can heal you. If we kiss. He growls even louder. You can't fix that. Moreover, if you shift back, you'll expose yourself. But, Nate. I can't do nothing about what I'm seeing. He's, in that kind of state. Selena, no. Healing Damien from a gunshot got Nora 2 years of coma, and you're not Nora. You can't risk that now. You'll bleed to death if I don't. Selena, I won't. My healing will take over soon enough. It's okay. Your arm is chopped off, Nate. I know. Don't worry about me. I'll be fine. You're losing so much blood. I start crying, whimpering, torn between healing my mate and the current fight. I look at the blood flow, but his werewolf healing is indeed taking over. Slowly but surely, it's closing off. Moon Goddess. Around us, I feel the vampires gathering, targeting my injured mate. Do they want to avenge their queen? I thought the fight would be over if we got rid of her. I growl angrily as a warning, and extend my aura to its limit, trying to keep them at bay. What do? I can't leave Nate to them, he'll die. Even if his healing closes his injury, with the blood loss and missing limb, he'll be easy prey. I need to do something, anything. I take deep breaths, slow my crying, and focus on my inner wolf. Come on, girl, what can we do? We are fighters. Fighter down to the bone, to our blood. I'm a alpha fighter. I sense something new. Another royal aura. Nora? I can almost hear it. A baby's crying. He's born. Selena, my baby, it's a boy. Yeah, I can feel him. My baby nephew, and his aura so pure. Moon Goddess, I feel like crying again. Nora is crying tears of joy. I can't believe her son is born. During this madness, a baby is born. My new nephew. I keep extending my aura. I feel the little newborn pup more intensely. It's like the appearance of another royal is guiding me. I play with my aura, its heat, my eyes glowing like fire, piercing the vampires and somehow, terrifying them. I feel the baby, and so much more. Something else. Nora's focusing on her healing. I sense our link growing back, stronger, her snow-white aura holding on tight to mine. Selena, how is Nathaniel? She asks, worried. He could use some healing. I feel her power growing and expanding. Our auras are so similar yet different. Nora's is like fresh, pure snow, blown by a cold wind. I feel her, extending her strength, covering the battlefield. Our auras find each other, touch, blend into something even stronger. I guess we finally unlocked something, between the two of us. It's amazing, she says. I feel absolutely everyone's wolves, so strongly, as if I can touch them. I know, right? I'm starting to understand the royal thing. We're connected to every wolf. More than I thought. I think I can. I feel her aura, somehow transmitting to Nate. What the? His injury is closing up even faster now. Amazed, I watch it close in accelerated motion, almost unreal. It takes a few more seconds before Nate tries to get up with my help, standing despite his missing limb. I'm amazed. Nora. Are you all right? Actually, yeah. I think your aura unlocked something in me. I don't use my own strength to heal others, but the moon's power. It's not easy, but I think I control it completely now. Indeed, I can feel it. Nora's aura is slowly covering the whole battlefield, going from one wolf to another, closing injuries and healing one wolf after another. She can't seem to do more than one at once, but considering how far she is, it's still pretty amazing. I'm starting to feel hope again. Nate is standing by my side, and I know Nora will be on her way soon. We are far from safe, though. The vampires, seeing the werewolves get back on their feet one by one, are resuming the fight. The queen's death did almost nothing. I growl in warning. Selena, go back. But don't worry about me, go back to my brothers. I'll follow. I hate parting with Nate, but at least now I know he'll be alright, not just bleeding on the ground. The black wolf is still trying to find his new pace, the right balance. I help him, letting him use me as a crutch until he's stable enough. He growls and pushes me once he's fine enough to stand with me. I give him a lick on the cheek. Love you. I know, sunshine. Go. I growl a bit, frustrated, and run back to our former position. I can't babysit Nate for the rest of the fight, he'll hate it. He'll be fine, he'll be fine. I mind-link Damien, Liam, all the alphas and beta, telling those who have yet to know about the vampire queen's death. Of course, the Black brothers knew about Nate, and both thank me silently for protecting him, and Nora for accelerating his healing with her brand new enhanced power. I can sense Damien's worried about his wife, but Nora seems fine. She probably channeled some of the moon's power for her own healing. I'm coming, she says. How's my nephew? Asks Liam, excited. He's adorable, of course. His brother's carbon copy. Let's have a girl, next. Damien. I chuckle. It's crazy he manages to bicker about having a third child in the middle of a battlefield. Even Liam didn't dare make any joke yet. Nate, are you okay? Yeah, I just need to adjust to running on all three instead of, you know. My heart hurts when I think about his arm. Maybe we can do something about it after the fight. I run back to the Black brothers, jumping on vampires on my way, trying to take down the ones I can, and catching a glimpse of the situation. Our alpha line is gone. With the brothers and I at the WH's position, Lysandra had no choice but to retreat all the way to where the betas are. We lost a lot of ground, they are almost at the border. Nora's intervention is helping maintain it for now, but we are running out of time. She won't be able to keep healing people once she gets into a fight herself, and I can feel she's on her way already. I can't believe her. She just delivered a baby and she's ready to join the fight. She's definitely Silver City's Luna. I tear apart another vampire, jump down, run, grab another one to pull it off of one of our wolves and kill it on the spot. I'm closing on the brothers' position and trying to rekindle that feeling from before. I definitely felt something else. My aura is different from Nora's. I can't feel that healing superpower she has. I'm not a healer. I'm a warrior, a fighter. I wonder what that means. I'm stronger, silver and blood venom immune, but if there's something more. I keep running and heat up my aura, like before. This warmth I've been able to manipulate now, spreading to all the auras around me. It's not like Nora's healing aura. Mine is more like a lamplight, guiding them, grasping their wolf aura and holding on. Like charging them with some heat, more energy. We are all linked. I push it even further. I can almost feel the glow the others see in me, as I keep testing that feeling, all those auras around me. So many auras. It's not just the werewolves. Thousands of auras. They are like mine, of the same, warm color, like the sunshine. The sons and daughters of the Sunday. The humans. Could it be? I keep running, stop a moment to fight another bunch of vampires, helping an injured wolf, and saving another right in time. My mind is everywhere. On the fight, with Nora, with Nate, with the brothers, with all those auras. It's insane. I can feel the humans. As Nora said, something unlocked in me. I try to hold on to them, to that strange feeling. I can't mind link them, they are not wolves. How do I do this? I keep growling, making my way to the heart of the battlefield. I know we can do this. There's a solution. Something more I can do, I can feel it. It's like a fire in my back, something burning inside. Nora, I can feel the humans. What? I know, it's crazy, but my aura. My aura reaches the humans of Silver City. Can you talk to them? Tell them, hey, we could use some help? I don't have a human channel and a werewolf channel, Liam. It's just. I feel bound to them, I just don't know how to use that. It's true. It's like a tiny tunnel, something too small for me to send my inner words as I would do with a wolf. It's different, like another kind of link. They barely have any aura, and it's nothing like what we werewolves are used to. I feel like my aura is attached differently to humans, but I can definitely feel them. If only I knew what to do with it. I'm almost there, says Nora. Me too. You might want to hurry up, ladies, we are. Damien. Liam's panicked wolf makes me jump and accelerate. Moon Goddess, not the king, not now. I can feel Damien, he just got injured, bad. His flank. His sharp pain almost wakes mine up, like my own injuries reopened violently. Damien! Screams Nora. I'm fine. I would never have pictured him saying anything else. Even if he was dying, he wouldn't show his weakness. I hope Nora and I can get there fast. Nate too. I keep running to them, all of us gathering around Silviana. She's the only one I can't reach through the mind link, and aside from what Liam and Damien can relay to us, I have no idea how she's doing. We have yet to be all drowning in waves of Nephira's magic, so I guess it means we are okay. I desperately try to understand this strange bound to the humans, but I am not in the best situation for experiments. The situation is going worse every minute now. Nora can't possibly heal every wolf, and we have already lost a lot. The only thing is that all of the vampires seem to be on the battlefield now, I don't see any new waves coming. Did the vampire queen's death have some effect after all? I run into another close fight between two wolves and a handful of vampires to help. Selena. You okay, Ben? Yeah, but... Levi. I know. I've been trying not to think about all the dead. William, Levi, Chris, so many of our friends. I can't even stop to count them all. I want to cry, but I can't. We need to focus on the fight, to avoid any more tragedy. We can mourn later, for those who survive. Once I'm sure Ben and his friend are in a better position, I finally take back my position to Damien and Liam's side. I hadn't realized how worse their situation has gotten. The vampires have aggregated around them, trying to overwhelm the brothers with their number. Damien seems to be easily getting rid of them like puppets, but the king is injured. He has a few bite marks he hasn't even complained about, and more alarming, one large injury on his flank, the one we felt earlier. It's bleeding out, and the healing process is slowed down, most likely because of all the vampire venom he's been infected with. I hope Nora can do something about it as soon as she gets there. Liam is in better shape, but not unscathed either. He's got cuts here and there, one leg limping a bit, and his tail is torn in an odd way. He still looks like he's eager to fight, though. The brothers are keeping their position close to Silviana, taking down any vampire that tries to get to her. Apparently, which took the central position in the fight, using her magic to control all of her immediate surroundings. Roots and branches appear in random positions to block most of Nephira's water attacks, or the nearby vampires. This fight is so unreal. Elements of nature fighting one another, directed by the two women's movements. Silviana's butterfly, too, is way bigger than usual, flying around her, though I have no idea what that thing is actually useful for. I think she's using it as a second pair of eyes, guiding her with her surroundings, because all this time, her power is acting everywhere while she's only looking at her sister. Nephira is almost having fun. She's smiling like a creep, agitating her arms to throw one wave after another, leaving her younger sister no rest. Somehow, the fight looks more balanced than before. The WHES are on the same level, but no attack seems to hit its direct target. Silviana is being more passive than offensive. Damien. Liam. Next to me, Nora's white wolf just appeared, shining on the battlefield with her unique appearance. She immediately runs to help her mate, and I run to help Liam. The position is harder to hold than before. Because the number of wolves has lessened elsewhere, it feels like the vampires are focusing on us now. If only I could figure out this thing with my aura. How long do you think you can hold this for, Silviana? I'm nowhere near done yet. Yells her sister, hysterical. Silviana doesn't answer. She's frowning, barely keeping up. Their elements are too different, her roots are struggling to block the waves and all the water pikes coming. Unlike Nephira, she has a lot of people to protect at the same time, and can't just focus on her sister. The water witch is just acting randomly, hitting as many people as she can. She doesn't care about hitting the vampires, and those things still get up even if she hits them anyway. I don't have time to help her, though. I'm focusing on my own fight, back to back with Liam. It's a mess. Vampires crawling from all angles, and Nora can't heal anyone anymore while she's busy fighting. The fight is even more violent than before. Nora. I'm okay, I'm okay. I'm just, not in the best shape today. No wonder, she just gave birth minutes ago. I think she got scratched a bit, but she seems fine, and Damien is watching her like a hawk too. His own mate appearing on the battlefield gave him even more reason to fight harder. I try to sense my own, and Nate is near, almost there actually. I roll back to avoid another vampire and bite him down savagely. My aura, my aura. I try to take my friends out of my mind for a moment, to focus on that strange bond with the humans. What can I do? I can't send them my thoughts or inner wolf's talk like I would for a wolf. They are humans. Elena. Nate. Missed me? My mate jumps next to me, but he immediately becomes one more target. Not my man, you bloodsuckers. I growl and ferociously attack the enemy that was about to get him, taking them down like a fury. Suddenly, I feel it. Like a spark. I hold on to that feeling and growl louder, letting my anger grow. Elena? My friends feel my furor, growing like a fire, a raging fire. My aura is burning up, ardent, and this time, it ignites. The vampires nearby suddenly screech, retreating as if I was burning them. I let my anger guide me, and growl, attack, bite like a machine. I can even feel Nate and Liam backing away, unsure about my sudden state. I'm just a big cloud of raging emotions right now. A raging sun, showing the way and burning high. The wolves can't feel it, they are stealing glances at me, confused by my sudden fit of rage and my aura going wild. But I feel it burst all the way to the humans I'm connected with. That's right. Silver City isn't just full of werewolves. Half of it is human. Half of my blood is human. Come and fight. Get angry at those vampires, get mad. I growl again, showing my fangs to those creatures who dare attack my territory. This is my city, you creatures. Our city. Join our Facebook and WhatsApp group for more updates, link is given in description. Rest audiobook will be continued in next episode.